What's up, y'all? It's Dr. Paul with another mail call. I have over 40 years experience collecting comics, and my channel is about sharing my experience and passion for comic book collecting, investing, and conservation with you. In today's mail call, we don't have a comic book, but we do have a very cool piece of ephemera from the Marvel Bronze Age that I've been chasing for quite a while. I don't want to spoil it just yet, but I will say this little piece of ephemera is why so many Hulk 181s have been mutilated. I want to say how much I appreciate you joining me today and thank all of the viewers, especially those that take the time to like, subscribe, and comment on my videos. Hopefully you have some popcorn handy because I think this video is really going to entertain. This little book is really wrapped up nicely, so it's going to take me a moment to extricate it from all this packaging. So let's get caught up with what's going on with the channel. If you're subscribed to the channel primarily for conservation videos, I know we haven't done any in a little while, but I have some exciting videos coming up soon. Many of you have been asking me for more videos with results back from third-party graders, so I have a few of those in the works, including the first appearance of Wolverine in Hulk 180 and the first appearance of the Winsome Wasp in Tales to Astonish number 44, which is actually a crack, clean, and resubmit. I also put a survey on our YouTube community page for Liberty Hill Comics asking if you wanted to see some straight, clean, and press videos without more extensive conservation. And over 80% of the respondents said yes. You'd like to see some content of just clean and pressing. So we'll be sprinkling some clean and press content in from time to time. It's possible that this is actually too much blue tape. I don't fault the sender for really trying to make this package bomb-proof, but I do apologize for how long this is taking, but we do have some other things we can talk about while I'm struggling with the packaging here. My next big conservation project is going to be a super rare pre-code horror book that I'm really looking forward to working on and sharing with you through a series of videos. And we finally get a reveal! Wow, look at this. I'm so excited about this. I don't know. I don't quite have the words. This is the Marvel Value Stamp Book. This is the album that you put all of your Marvel Value stamps in when you cut them out of all your back issues. This was sold for 50 cents through mail order from Marvel. And if you collected all of them, supposedly there was discounts on entrance into Comic-Cons and perhaps merchandise with certain merchants. I've never actually heard that was confirmed, but that's what was stated in the instructions. Also, each of these books is serialized. It's stamped with a serial number there on the front. And in the Marvel Bullpen Bulletins, there was a statement that the serial number would be used at some later point. Presumably, maybe they would do a drawing and award prizes to, random serial numbers or something like that. I don't think that was ever done either. So they do have serial numbers, but other than for the purpose of keeping track of them, I don't know. Wow, look at this. I don't know that it actually matters, the serial number. These are the places where the vendors were supposed to stamp. You would stamp if you went to San Diego Comic-Con or New York Comic-Con, for example. Well, finally, as I like to say, what is it and why do we care? This is the Marvel Value Stamp Book. You know, the reason why so many of those Hulk 181s have seen their value cut in half or worse? Maybe it should have been called the Marvel D-Value Stamp Book. Nevertheless, it's a great collectible that is comic book adjacent, and adding one of these to your PC is a great way to curate a collection that will be the envy of your comic book nerd friends. Nearly anyone who has been collecting comics for any amount of time has heard of it, but few have ever seen one, and fewer still own one. For those not aware, the Marvel value stamps were dreamed up by Stan Lee as a way to boost sales by tapping into collectors' desire to be completionists. The idea was simple. Set the goal to collect 100 stamps found in various Marvel comics, and thereby entice comic buyers to buy comics they ordinarily wouldn't purchase because they need the stamp printed on the letters page of that issue of giant-sized Man-Thing. Then, cross your fingers and hope that they read the title they bought just for the stamp and get hooked on it. While I thumb through this booklet, here's some background on the Marvel value stamps. They were printed in comics published from March 1974 to December of 1975. During that glorious year and a half, Marvel published some great comic books that were mutilated by Marvel value stamp collectors. According to mvs.blogspot.com, the best resource I found on the internet for MVS stamps, there were a total of 878 comic books published by Marvel during that period, and 307 of them contained Marvel value stamps. So about 1 in every 3 comics Marvel published during that time period had an MVS in it. Most of the stamps appeared in 3 or 4 different comic books spread out over the year and a half long program. But some stamps appeared in up to 6 issues, some only 2 issues, and one stamp was only printed in a single issue. 22 of the 100 stamps were only printed in 2 issues. They were Werewolf by Night, Power Man, The Living Mummy, Shang-Chi, Hogun, Kull, Baron Mordo, The Grey Gargoyle, Iron Fist, Loki, The Absorbing Man, The Green Goblin, The Black Panther, Bucky Barnes, The Grim Reaper, The Vulture, The Golem, Kazar, Sif, Iceman, Dormammu, and Mary Jane Watson. The stamp that was only printed in a single comic book was Burra, which only appeared in Marvel Team-Up number 22. Presumably, if you have an incomplete Marvel value stamp book, these would be some of the stamps most likely to be missing, because back when all of these comics were cover price, the ones that appeared in the fewest comics would be the most difficult to come across. Interestingly, the stamps were not released in numeric order, but rather haphazardly. In the first month of the program, March of 1974, one could have collected up to 19 of the stamps. They were Stamp 1, Spider-Man, Stamp 2, the Hulk, Stamp 7, Werewolf by Night, Stamp 10, Power Man, Stamp 13, Doctor Strange, Stamp 14, Dracula, 15, Iron Man, 20, Brother Voodoo, 22, Man-Thing, 28, Hawkeye, 39, Iron Fist, 50, Black Panther, 60, Kazar, 63, Submariner, 68, Son of Satan, 75, Morbius, 84, Doctor Doom, 90, Hercules, and 93, Silver Surfer. Imagine the sense of accomplishment if you had been able to collect 19 of the 100 in the very first month. And imagine the stack of comics you would have to mutilate. As you can see, stamps in my album appear to have been either glued directly into the album or, in some cases, glued or taped onto a backer board, probably red construction paper, and then glued into the album. Perhaps the original owner of this album initially affixed the stamps to construction paper before they owned the stamp book, and then later cut them from the construction paper and glued them into the album. Frankly, obviously, this album's in rough shape. The cover is soiled, some of the pages were closed before the glue completely dried, so there are page tears from later separating the pages that ended up glued together. And the stamps are placed haphazardly, Some of them are cut so as to not be complete. Some of them have pen outlines and appear to have been ripped out of the books rather than cleanly cut out. Frankly, it's pretty pathetic. For me, this all contributes to the charm of this little book. It's just so much fun to think about all the books that were mutilated to just assemble this little collection. Despite it being in rough shape, the book I purchased is only missing 4 of the 100 stamps, which is pretty remarkable in my opinion. These are number 5, Dracula, number 13, Doctor Strange, number 34, Mr. Fantastic, and number 92, Burra, the rarest of all the stamps, which, as I mentioned, was only found in Marvel Team-Up number 22. Now, if I wanted to complete this book, it would be pretty easy today to do so with low-grade or coverless copies of some of these inexpensive books, especially if I was patient. But I'm on the fence. I kind of want to leave the book as a testament to just how close he got, and still missed the mark. Some very valuable books may have been mutilated to put together this stamp album. Of course, Hulk 181 is the big key book that features the second appearance of Wolverine and his first cover appearance. That book contains the Shanna the She-Devil stamp, which our album has. Was the Shanna in our album cut from a Hulk 181? Chances are actually pretty good that it was, because the stamp only occurred in 3 comic books, and Astonishing Tales and Man-Thing both had significantly lower print runs than the Hulk at the time, so Hulk 181 would be the logical choice from which to cut the stamp. There are plenty of other key Bronze Age books that could have been ruined by Marvel value stamp collectors. Among them are Hulk 180 and 182, both valued well over $100 even in low grade because of the Wolverine appearances. The first appearance of Iron Fist in Marvel Premiere number 15. The first appearance of Madrox the Multiple Man in Giant Size Fantastic Four number 4. The first appearance of Korvac in Giant Size Defenders number 3. The first appearance of Tigra in Giant Size Creatures number 1. The first appearance of Black Talon in Strange Tales number 173. The first appearance of Firelord in Thor, number 225. The first appearance of Deathlock in Astonishing Tales, number 25, which also contains the first published artwork by George Perez for Marvel. Amazing Spider-Man number 134, the second appearance of the Punisher and first appearance of the Tarantula. Amazing Spider-Man number 135, third appearance of the Punisher and his second cover appearance. The first issue of Invaders, the first issue of Iron Fist, and the first self-titled issue of Doctor Strange. And these are just the keys with raw values over $100 today in high grade. There are plenty of minor keys I didn't mention among the over 300 comic books that contained Series A Marvel value stamps. There's even a printing error that created a variant stamp. Stamp 28, Hawkeye, has a miscolored variant in which his arms are blue rather than flesh-colored. My album has the stamp with the correctly colored arms. No idea which one might be more rare. You may be wondering if CGC grades Marvel value stamp books. The answer is technically yes, they grade them. But apparently only if they have no stamps affixed inside. The CGC Census contains just 13 Universal and 4 Signature Series examples. If you have an album with stamps affixed like mine, they don't grade them, but they will still slab them. They provide the NG for no grade and will encapsulate them and note on the label the serial number of the album as well as how many of the stamps are present in the album. These NG slabs do not get counted in the census, oddly enough, so we don't really know how many of them are out there. With ephemera like this, it's difficult to place a fair market value, and as you might expect, prices are all over the place depending on condition, how many of the stamps are affixed, and how neatly they were affixed, etc. These really are worth what someone is willing to pay for them. Recent sales range from around $200 after shipping and taxes, all the way up to over $1,000 for sales in the last few years for nice examples. I'm thrilled with this charming little collectible that I picked up in a direct transaction for $350, which included the taxes and shipping. I hope you enjoyed this video on this Bronze Age Marvel comic book adjacent collectible. Anyone out there have one of these of their own? How complete is it? Anyone ever cut out any Marvel value stamps? Shh, I won't tell anyone. Anyone own a comic book with Marvel value stamps removed and you didn't maybe know it when you purchased it? It's a huge bummer. If this were your copy, what would you do with it? Complete it? Leave it incomplete? Grade it? Leave it raw? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. And until next time, happy hunting and take care of one another.